about your stream game. I just published uh, last week an episode of the Solo Coder about someone streaming coding, not gaming, but streaming coding. While he codes, he streams that. So I don't know if it's for me, but it's an interesting strategy. Okay. So let's see here. Today I just lost a file. I never thought that I would lose a file. And I was looking today in my hard drive, where is this file? And I lost it. I thought that only other people would lose files, not me. I don't lose files, but I lost the file. I did lose a file. You know, I'm thinking if there is, I know that there is an app that can recover deleted files, but I don't think I deleted this bloody file. Anyway, just share my frustration of the day. Because I just realized that right before I came to class that I lost this file. Anyway, if you have any solution on how to recover, yes, Tomoki, if you have any solutions on how to recover a file, I would welcome that. There are plenty of apps there, but who knows? I mean, now I'm gonna have to spend half an hour trying to find an app that does file recovery. Anyway, my frustration of the day, the rainbow of the day. So let's get to business here. Today is our I won't say it's our last. No, it's not. But it's our. We still have the other one, which will be exercise. Yeah, so we still have 3 classes though today and 2 more. The next one next week will be exercise for the test. This one is actually kind of already an exercise for the test. Next one as well. Tomorrow there's no class. Yeah, tomorrow is holiday theory, so tomorrow no class. So next week, next Thursday, we're gonna have an exercise. Actually, I'm gonna hand out this exercise today. You have 1 week to work in this exercise. Then next week, I'll demonstrate the exercise. I'll answer questions. And then on Friday, we have our final one. Today, we have our quiz. Okay, so in the last 20 minutes of our class today, we'll be doing our quiz, which will cover graphical user interface, GUI, and test-driven development. 10 questions, you have 20 minutes to get that done. Sampath, I have used an app called, okay, I'm gonna check it out. Thanks so much, Sampath, for that easy as. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll have a look at that. Okay, so as I was saying, yeah, so quiz, GUI, and test-driven development in the last 20 minutes of our class today. In the first part of our class, here's what I would like to do. First off, I would like to check if you had a chance to, and am I sharing my screen? Yes, I'm sharing, yes. If you had a chance to have a look at the exercise. And I get it, if you have not had a chance, that's fine. It happens. So what I'll be focusing on today is going through step by step of programming exercises 14. That was handed out to you last class. I don't know who had a chance to do that. Good morning, Brandon. Anyone had a chance to look at this exercise? Can you just give me some feedback there in the chat? Anyone? Fabio, thank you. Yep, good. Lufu, perfect. So, if you had a chance to look at the exercise, great. You're going to be able to, thanks Ritesh, you're going to be able to ask your questions. If you have questions there, Sali, thank you for that. If you have not had a chance, that's great, Brandon, no problem. UI stuff, we're going to cover that. So if you have a chance, you're going to be able to ask questions. If you did not have a chance, I'll be walking you through today. You can take the exercise, you can do it on your own, you can review the solution, you can review the video that I'll be recording right now with you. So use this time well to ask me questions as I go along. If you get stuck, just ask. It's long, sir. What is long? The exercise is long? the extra time you need for the exercise is the time that you have on your own at home. Okay, so, but in any case, this is the exercise that I will be demonstrating, okay, today. Any questions before we get started with this? Anything there? Anything in general, in particular, to the content in general, about things in general? Nope. Okay. So, as usual, I have Padlet with me. I'll be checking things all over the place here. And I'm gonna get this started. So, Ritesh, this is not the test example yet. The test example, I'll be handing that out after this exercise and before you get started with the quiz, okay? So I'll actually exercise 15 and 16. They are the ones that is the, let's call it this way, the warm-up, the preview for the test, and they are located under week 13. But I will go through them once I'm done with this one here, okay? Okie dokie, so let's get this started. So let me just open one more thing here. This is the bank. Okay, so the bank. So in this exercise, we're gonna create a Windows app called bank, a Windows project called bank, okay? So let's start there. I'm gonna open here Visual Studio. And I'm gonna get this going. Okay, so Visual Studio here, 2019, new project. Remember, Windows Forms app, .NET Framework. Do not select .NET Core. We're not working with .NET Core. I see a lot of students coming back to me with problems on their assignment 4 because they are selecting .NET Core. No, we're not dealing with .NET Core. Actually, .NET Core, I'll be dealing with that next semester on web application development, comp123. I'm teaching 3 sections next semester. So if any one of you is doing comp123, hey, maybe you are welcome to my sections there. 3, section 1, 2, 3, comp123 next semester for summer. Summer, yes, we have summer. So Windows Forms app, I'm gonna select next here. The name is bank. I'm gonna keep the same solution name, and I'm gonna remind you to uncheck this checkbox, place solution and project in the same directory. Uncheck that. However, if you are running 2017 of Visual Studio, the option is the opposite of this one. Okay, so the option there on the side, you should keep it checked, so it creates a folder for you for the solution and a folder for the directory. So it's the opposite of this. Just a little confusing, but 2019 you uncheck to create the solution folder. 2017 you check to create the solution folder. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna progress here and create. And it's created. Okay, so we're not gonna worry for now about the UI, about the form. Let's start with the class part. So we have this class here called bank account. It's asking to create a class called bank account, so let's do that. So right click the project, go to add class, and let's call this bank account. Now, our bank account, it has a private field called balance and a few public properties here: account number, balance, customer name. Balance, we have a property; balance, we have a field. Account number, we don't have fields for them. So, account number and customer name, will it be fully implemented or auto-implemented properties? On the chat, please, Give me some feedback there. Fully implemented or auto-implemented? Auto-implemented. Auto. Okay. Okay. Yes, auto-implemented because we don't have private fields here. Okay. So there's nothing to set and get from. So they are auto-implemented. And what is also different here from balance, property balance, what is different about this? What is unique, different here in the balance property? Okay, what does it mean to have get only? It's read only, yes, Salig, read only. Okay, so those are the particular things about this class. Let's start with balance here. So we'll start with balance. So here we go. We have private double balance, and then a public field. Sorry, a public property. Public double balance, and we're gonna have a get that's gonna return balance. And then we have two auto implemented, one called account number, int, and customer name. Okay, so public account number, which is an integer, and we have a public int, have a get and a set, and then public string customer name, which we also have a get and a set. Okay, and then we have other methods. We have deposit and withdraw, and we have a bank account constructor. Okay, so let's put together the constructor. Public bank account. Just to speed things up a little bit, I'm gonna copy from another location. I'll make this available once we are done here. Okay, so the code will become available for you to download. So constructor, we have three parameters. We have to set account number, property to account number, parameter. We have to do the same for customer name. We have to set the property to the parameter. And then balance. What should I do with balance here? Should it look like this? Is it correct? Is this correct? Give me some feedback there. How should this look like? Exactly, Fabio. So it should be balance equals to balance, but using the keywords this. Why you use this? Because this makes a reference to the current object inside that class, and it allows you to reach the balance field that is private and is outside of the method. If you don't put this, balance means the balance from the parameters, not from the fields. Okay? Ritesh, we cannot do capital balance there because balance does not have, look, balance doesn't have a get. Okay? There's no get here. It's a read-only property. So that's why we cannot use capital balance here. Okay, so class is created and this is working. So let me just close something here and let me see where we are. Okay, so we did this. Now let's build our withdraw and deposit methods. Withdraw will add, so will subtract an amount from the balance, and deposit will add an amount to the balance. Okay, so let's just do them. They are both void, so public void withdraw. It accepts a double as an amount. And how should this look like? What is it that withdraw should do? What's the implementation of withdraw? Anyone in the chat? The implementation of withdraw, what should it be there? Okay, that's great, Fabio. Let's go one step at a time. Yes, for now, let's skip let's not implement the exceptions yet. Let's just go for a simple update of the balance, as Mukahit is mentioning there. So we're just gonna say balance equals to balance minus amount. Okay, for now, we will reach the exceptions in a second. Then we have the deposit. Deposit is what? Is the opposite. Okay. Instead of being a minus, we're gonna be adding the amount to the balance. Okay. Any questions about withdraw and deposits? As you see here in the explanation, deposit method should add the amount passed to the balance field. Withdraw should deduct the amount passed from the balance field and update the new balance. Okay, so we have one subtracting, the other one adding the amount. And we are done with our class. Sorry, we're not done with the class yet. We have to handle the exceptions here. So there are a few exceptions that we're gonna be triggering. We're gonna be throwing exceptions here. We're not gonna be handling here. Okay? Here we throw. Somebody else will catch them. Not us, somebody else, whoever is calling this. So we're gonna say in the withdraw, if the amount is greater than the balance, throw an exception. Okay. So I'm gonna copy this exception here. And I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna say if amount is greater than balance, look, I cannot withdraw more than what I have in my bank account. Yes, I know we have overdraw limit in our real bank accounts, but in this bank here, Ederson's bank, you cannot go over limit. Okay, so either you have it or you don't, and you cannot withdraw. Okay, so if the amount is that you're trying to get is greater than the balance, throw a new exception. And this is the exception. Okay, the exception has a message and says amount cannot be greater than the balance. Okay, that's the first one. But we'll also have to handle a second exception. In case the user tries to withdraw 0 or withdraw minus $100. It does make sense. So we're gonna make another test here. We're gonna say, hey, if amount, and that's what Fabio has placed there. Okay, if amount is less than or equal to 0, we're gonna throw this exception here, a new exception. Okay, as Fabio was saying there, I mean, his code there on the chat is a bit more efficient than this one here. He is doing like this, and he's creating an else statement here. So I like his code. I like your code, Fabio, there. So I'm gonna use it. Let's see. Yeah. So if it's 0 negative, throw the exception, and that's it. Else, if it's not, check if the amount is greater than the balance, and throw the exception here as well. I'm gonna leave it as Fabio had suggested here. Okay, now we're gonna have the same test here for the deposit. So on both deposit and withdraw, we're gonna test if the amount is less than or equal to 0. Great. And again, here, withdraw deposit, we will not be using try catch, because if you are throwing an exception, you should not catch it. Okay? It does not make sense to throw and catch at the same time. You throw to alert somebody else that is using this method that something is going wrong here. That's how you're gonna alert them. Okay? That's why you usually don't put a try catch block if you are using already a throw statement. Let me know if this is not clear. I know that it can be a bit confusing, so feel free to let me know. No questions there? Any questions? Nothing there? Okay. Okay, so now let's jump to our UI. So first step here in our UI, let's name our form FRM transaction. Okay, so let's put the proper name there. In our form, let's go to the properties of the form. Here on the lower left side, let's go to the name of the form, and let's replace form1 by FRM transaction. Okay, then we have to put, let's put the title of our form bank account, and we can do that in the text property. So bank account, here we go, and then look, we have this control with account information and this one with transaction. Which control is that one? Can you give me some feedback there in the chat? What is the name of this control? Account information, transaction. Group box. Ravi, yes, that's group box. Okay, so we're gonna add two group boxes to our form. So group box here. A little bit too wide. Let's reduce this a little bit, and we should be good here. Okay, there we go. Now remember, as I said, if you will not be coding with that control, if there's no property of that control that you're gonna be accessing or changing in your code, you don't have to name them. That's why I don't care about the names of group box 1 and group box 2, because I won't be referring to them in my code. However, I need to change the text property because that's what shows up at the top. So the first one, name, I'm gonna leave it, but I'm gonna go to the text and I'm gonna say account information. In the other one, I'm gonna say transaction. I guess I'm in the wrong section today. Is it open for all sections? Yes, Simon, if you are in the wrong section and if you want to review this, to be quite honest, I don't remember who is which section. You are the ones that should know about that, okay? But if you want to stick around, if you have seen this before already, you're gonna review this. I'll leave it up to you. I'll make it open to any section, okay? No problem if you stick around. Just make sure that you are not losing your time because you may have seen this. Yeah, so same again, if you have seen this before, if you have seen this exercise, yeah, that's okay. You can go. I just want to check here, just to see if I'm not getting crazy here. For the rest of you, you have not seen this exercise before demonstrated by me, have you? Tomoki, give me some feedback here. Okay, Fabio, okay, great. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not losing yet, okay? Okay, good. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Okay, so transaction here with those in place. Let's now add those labels. Now, in terms of those labels, look at this. Yes, thank you. No problem, Sam. I was just trying to confirm because sometimes I can, because too many sections, and some sections they have 4 hours, some sections it's 2 hours, twice a week. So sometimes I may forget what I mentioned, but I try to do a good job there. Anyway, what I want to mention is about those 6 labels. 3 of them, those 3, they are static labels, okay? Yeah, no, my timeline is good. So that's the reason why I'm not losing yet. Anyway, those labels, account number, name, and balance. Those names, those labels, I don't need to name them properly because they are static labels. I don't need to change their properties. They are static. However, these ones, actually, let me clear this. However, this other set here, they are dynamic. So I need to change their values dynamically when I'm running the code. So I'm gonna give proper names to those 3 labels. And this one here, static as well, like this, okay? So I don't have to change its name either. Okay, so I'm gonna erase all here, all good. So let's add some labels here. Okay, so we're not gonna name them, but we're gonna, of course, we're gonna change the text. So the first one here is the account number. And then the second one is the name, the customer name. And then the last one is the balance. And I'm gonna copy just to do a Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V here to make things a little bit faster. And now I'm gonna name them properly. Actually, let me level them up, because now they will be the ones storing the actual account number, the name of the customer, and the balance. So I'm gonna say LBL account number. I'd recommend that you keep some text there, otherwise you won't have a reference where the label is. See, if I delete everything, you no longer see the label. So just keep something there to give you a reference. This is the LBL customer name. And the last one is LBL balance. And we have the 6 labels here. So let's copy another label. We have another label here, which is the amount. Okay, so we have the labels in place, and now let's look at the exercise again. And we have here 2 radio buttons. What is the recommended abbreviation for radio button? Anyone in the chat? Can you tell me the abbreviation of a radio button that we have in our notation? RBTN. Yep, so you're gonna be using RBTN. RBTN withdraw, with not withdrawn. I need to get rid of the N here. So let's add them. So radio group, so radio button. And this will be RBTN with, sorry, this is the text, so it's just withdraw, and the name will be rbtn withdraw, and I'm gonna copy and paste this. I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna call this other one rbtn deposit, and then let's change the text property. Let's say deposit, and then we need a text box here now. So let's use a text box. This text box, we will need to name it properly, because that's the amount that we want to withdraw or deposit. So txt amount. Let's also set withdraw as the default option, okay? Because usually when you have two radio buttons, you should have one of the buttons pre-selected by default, okay? So let's go to the checked. Let's check this one here, and let's just give this a spin. Quick look. Oops. We have some errors here. Let's see what's going on. And I'm missing a semicolon here. Let's just do one more thing. Let's put as the default text for the text box, let's put 0 there, just to keep something there. So let's try to run this again. Okay, so here we have, of course, nothing is happening yet, but it's a work in progress. Now, what else we have in our exercise? So here it says, on the load event in the form class, create the object myAccount, like this. Actually, before that. Yes, the button. Yes, Ritesh, sorry about that. You're absolutely right. So we are missing the button there. I was just testing, okay? Just testing to see if you guys were paying attention. I'm glad that you are. So let's call this btn process, and let's write on top of it process. We can also change the font, because the font in the exercise is a little bit bigger, so we can change the font of the group. When you do that for the group box, the font of the controls inside the group box, they change automatically as well. Look, I made it 11, and I'm gonna make it bold, and I don't want to make these bold, so I'm gonna unbold them, and I'm gonna make the other one as well as 11. Everything grows inside, and let's make it bold too, but I don't want to put the other ones bold inside, so I'm gonna unbold them, and here we have. So we have the button now. So going back here to the exercise, we have to declare a private object bank account called myAccount. Okay, so let's create myAccount, and when I say that, it's like, see here in the bank account class, you have a balance that is private. In our FRM, which by the way, I can see the codes by right-clicking the form 1 and then clicking on view codes. I can go to the very top where I have the definition of the FRM transaction, and I can say here, I can say private bank account. I'm gonna call this myAccount. You could have created it right here, okay? You could have set equals to new bank account. You could create it right away. I just opted to do this time around in the form load, in the load event of the form, okay? So let's go here to the form. Let's go to the events. In the load, I'm gonna double click, and I'm gonna say myAccount equals to new bank account, And I'm gonna say that, what is the information here? Here's what I want to create, how I want to create this account. So bank account, this is the account number, this is the name of the customer, and the customer is opening the account with $10,000 here, okay? Awesome, awesome. Now, the same point, it's asking to set the initial values for the labels, account number, name, and balance. Okay, so let's do that. Let's call LBL account number dot text equals to what? Well, equals to my account dot account number. Account number is an integer. I need to convert this to a string. And we're going to do this for the LBL customer name as well. Dot text equals to my account dot customer name. We are just populating, just to recap, we are just populating these properties here, these controls here, the text box, the text property of each one of those labels. Okay? And last one, LBL balance dot text equals to what? Equals to my account dot balance. But let's convert this to string because it's a double right now. And let's format this value as currency. So let's use the currency format there. With this, we should be able to run and have our object created there. And here we have, okay. Very simple. So we have account number, name, and balance here. Now we have to make this work. We have to make the process button work. Okay, so in the click of the button, okay, so let's go to the properties and then the events of process button. Let's double click on the click event. Here we have the code. How do we start this code here? What should I do? First thing I should do here to start processing the transaction. Anyone in the chat? What should I do here? First off, what do you think? Come on, come on. Wake up, get your coffees. Yes, verify the account details. Let's check, yes, let's check which button is pressed, which button, radio button is selected there, okay? So we will check whether withdraw or deposit is checked. So think about this. We just have two options, withdraw and deposit. Either withdraw is checked or deposit is checked. If withdraw is checked, deposit is not. If deposit is checked, withdraw is not. So I could do something like this. I can say if radio button withdraw, yes, we're gonna use a boolean here, Jay. Yes, row, if we are withdrawing or deposit, that's fine. That's it. So we are checked now. Which one? So if withdraw dot checked, so checked is a boolean. If it's true, it means it's a withdrawal. If it's false, it means it's a deposit. Okay? So we can just say this, my account dot, well, if withdraw is checked, it means that I want to do a withdrawal. I want to perform a withdrawal. That's it. That's exactly that. Now, Fabio, I will try to simplify this a little bit because I think it can be simplified here. So, withdraw, if it's checked, we're going to do withdraw. Let me ask you this. Do I need to check if deposit is checked? If I already know that withdraw is not checked, do I need to check the other one? I don't. because it's either one or the other. So to make it very simple, we can just do an else here. And the else will say, okay, if it's not checked, it means that it's a deposit. Now, this works well if we just have two options, okay? If we have more than two options, then you're gonna have to do what Fabio's suggesting here, because you have to check. Is the other one checked? Is the other one checked? Is the other one checked? You have to do that. But just two, you don't, because it's either one or the other one, okay? Yes, now we need to get the amount. Okay, so let's go there. So we're gonna withdraw and deposit, but what is the amount? Well, let's do something here before we get to the if statement. Let's say that we have declared a double called amount, and we're gonna get the amount that is in this control here. Okay, so control is called text amount. I'm gonna get it from there. What is the property? The property is the text property. Now we have to convert the string to a double, and we have to say something like this: double dot parse, and here's the amount. I'm gonna withdraw this amount or deposit the amount. Okay. In the end, we have to add a message. Show a message that it was successful. So message box.show successful transaction. Okay, so let's do that here. Great, so let's see. Let's run this. Message box is a class, deposit is the method, and we just display the message. So let's see if this is working. If I try to deposit $1,000, or sorry, withdraw. Okay, successful transaction. Of course, it's not updating here because we did not change the label. Let's fix that. We are missing the label here. So we need to do this again. We need to get the new balance. Yes, we need to get the new balance. Otherwise, it doesn't get updated in the UI. Okay, so we do the withdraw, we do the deposit, and we get the new balance by accessing the balance property of the account. So let me run this again and see if it's working. Great, so we have it here. I'm gonna withdraw $1,000, and now successful transaction. I have balance of 9,000, successful 8,000. I'm just withdrawing here. I'm gonna do a deposit here, make a deposit of $100. Process deposit. Now we have 7,100. Deposit again, 7,200, and keep going. So it is working. Okay, withdraw and deposit, they are both working. However, what if I try to withdraw 0? What if okay, we're gonna get there, Ritesh. Give me just a second there. Let's try with invalid numbers here first. What if I try with 0? What will happen here? Well, anyone? Guess? If I try 0, or if I try minus 100 or 1000, what will happen? An exception, because we have coded here that if we try to withdraw 0 or less, withdraw 0 or less, it's gonna create an exception. It's gonna throw an exception. So if I try to process, code stops, and it's triggering a system.argument out of range exception. Okay, so we have to handle the exceptions now. So exception handling is what we are doing right now. Right now, this is not test-driven development. Test-driven development is the next step that we're gonna be doing in a little while. What we're doing now is exception handling, the ability of our application to handle a problem, to handle an exception, like negative number, 0, or a withdrawal of an amount that is greater than the balance there. So you're going to handle all three of them. Yes, you're going to have a try-catch block, retest in the form, in the click of the button. So I'm going to involve, encompass the entire code of process click inside a try-catch block, because there are also things that can go wrong here. Okay, we're gonna get there in a second. So I'm gonna go with a try catch the entire thing, and now let's catch specific problems. Okay, so the first one we're gonna catch is this one here, argument out of range exception. So catch this one here, error, and then show me what is the problem. Okay, so the problem we're gonna show as this. We're gonna just say, we're gonna put a pop-up. Let's make it a pop-up. So message box dot show. Show what? Let's show the error message. Let's show this error dot message. Okay, and this will catch the negative numbers, 0 and negative numbers. Let's give it a try. So 0 here, if I try to process, look, I have a message now. I no longer have an exception. Well, exception is thrown, but the click of the button is catching the exception, okay? And not crashing the application. If I put negative number as well, the same thing happens. All good here. Great, but if I try to withdraw $11,000, look, we get the exception because we are not catching this exception yet. We're not catching the general exception yet, okay? So let's catch that. Actually, you know what? Before we catch the general one, how about we catch this one here? Look, if I put characters here, look what will happen. We have a problem there. Which exception should I catch to catch this one? It's right in front of you. Yes, format exception. So we have, look at the error here, and we just have to catch it, okay? So we have to catch this exception, format exception. So let's break the code here, stop the code, and let's catch. I'm trying to do this before we catch the general exception. So format exception, I'm gonna say error as well, but I'm gonna give my own message here. I'm gonna say message box dot show, and I'm gonna say invalid characters inside the amount, inside the amount. That's okay. Great, so now we catch this one as well, and if we run this again, and have a look, put some characters here, and now we are handling it properly. Last one that we're gonna do is this one that we're gonna withdraw. Succession transaction, what the hell? Oh, it was a deposit, that's fine. Let's withdraw this. Okay, and withdraw again, and now we have a problem because the funds are not enough. So we have to catch a general exception as well. So I'm gonna say catch exception error, and this time around I'm gonna say message box dot show, and I'm gonna show the error dot message, and I'm gonna also say that I'm gonna also put the cursor focus back in the amount control. So txt amount dot focus. What focus does is it sets the cursor, it sets the focus of the cursor back inside the text so that you can fix it. Okay, I'm just showing you how to use that. Not that I will not, it's the exercise is not asking for that, but I'm just gonna demonstrate that. Gonna run again, and if now I try to withdraw 11,000, now it says amount cannot be greater than the balance, and you see the cursor, it goes back there because I set the focus back in that control. Okay? Great, so I think that with that, we finish, we finished the first and second parts. Third part here is the test, the test project, okay? We're gonna do that, we're gonna get that one started. Visual Studio is a little slow in laptop. Yeah, I get it, I believe that. I'm just looking at the comment here, a private comment, that's saying that Visual Studio is a bit slow in a laptop. Visual Studio is very, very heavy, very resource intensive. Anyway, let's have 5 minutes break. Let's come back and jump to this one. We still have to get this one done before we go for the quiz, okay? 5 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, so we are back. Can you just give me some feedback there if you can hear me? I see a few questions here, a few notes, so let me go first. Let's just see if you can hear me. Yep, okay, good. So let's see here. Fabio, if I don't use the default error message or the exception, can I declare like this? Yeah, you can, that's fine. That's okay. I was not really requiring that you use the error. That's okay. That's fine. No, that's fine. Again, Fabio, you can, if you don't want to use the error message that comes by default, you can do just what you did there. Okay? Okay. Okay, you send me that privately, so I'm not gonna say your name. So if you are having a problem with the VM, I see more people using VM, the virtual machine, and they seem to be doing fine. So give it another try. Maybe log out and go back in. Okay, so follow up with me if you're still having that problem. I'm talking about the VM message here, and again, it was sent to me privately. I missed that music. Okay, good. I hope that you enjoyed the music. So okay, I see a few messages here about the VM problem with the calculator test. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna test the VM with the calculator that I put together. Now, I'd appreciate from the ones that are having problems with the VM, give me a screenshot of the problem so I can at least know a little bit more information about what's the problem that's going on. You can share a screenshot with me on Slack. Share that on Slack privately to me, and I'll have a look at that. I'll try it myself, okay? And then I'll follow up with you afterwards. Okay, yeah, so Vin, that's what I'm talking. Both of you, Theory and Vin, send me a snapshot of what's the problem that's happening there. I'll give it a try myself, and it might be some sort of incompatibility between the version that I'm posting and 2017, okay? So I'll sort it out one-on-one with you guys later, okay? So again, send me a screenshot so I know what's the error, and I'll look into that. Okay, so moving on here, let's wrap things up with the test project. Okay, so our test project will be called bank tests. So let's do that. So here on Visual Studio, I'm just gonna right click the solution. I'm gonna go to add new project. The project right now that I'll need to create is unit tests project .NET framework, not .NET Core, .NET framework, very important. Unit test project. Click next. Let's name it bank tests. Keep it as the latest version of the framework. And it might be that you are having problems with the framework. Maybe in that machine does not have the framework that I'm using in my solution in the VM. That might be the problem. But again, I will check that. Okay, so from here, I'll click create, press create, create. And I'm going to rename the class unit test1 to bank account tests. Okay, so if you click on unit test1, if you right click, if you go to rename, you can rename it to bank account tests. If I hit enter, it's gonna ask if I also want to rename the class name. I'm gonna confirm that, okay? So I keep the class name consistent with the file name. So now both of them are called bank account tests, the file name and the class name. Okay, so the name of our first test is deposit valid amount updates balance. So what this is doing is this. First part, I'm testing the deposit method. Second one, I'm providing a valid amount. And part 3, I'm expecting an updated balance. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna call it. So I'm gonna rename this one with test valid amount updates balance. So again, name of the methods, what am I providing, what am I expecting. In our arrange, anyone can recommend what I should do here in my arrange for this. I'm testing if the balance will be fine. So how should I arrange this? Any feedback there? Okay, so good answers there. One is complementing each other, okay? So actually I'm going to start by creating an object, because if I try to put like Fabio's suggestion, I get it. Deposit, yes, this is the amount that I'm depositing. Initial balance is 10. However, we don't have a place for our initial balance. We have to create an object of that class to set the balance, okay? So if I do this, I'm gonna declare an account, my account from bank account. It's a new account. Account number, I'm gonna set to 1. Clark Kent is the name of the customer. Instead of having initial balance as 10 like this, Fabio, I'm gonna have this here. I'm gonna put 10 here. Okay. Now I get it. This is okay. Deposit, I'm gonna deposit this amount, and then the result, or I'm gonna call this expected, will be 30. Okay, so that makes sense. Now we have a problem here, Houston. Awesome. That's great, Fabio. So you did it afterwards, that's fine. All good. Yes, Vin. So that's what we're gonna be doing next, because now we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem here. Bank account cannot be found. So to fix that, we have to start by making a reference from bank tests to bank. The way you do that, we expand references here, and then we right click on references, we add reference. Those steps that I'm doing right now, very important, very tricky. If you don't get them right, you are screwed up. So go to projects, go to solution, select the bank, click OK. Now you are making a reference from bank tests back to bank. So bank tests now can see what is inside bank, okay? But this is not enough. We still have a problem here. So what's next? What do I have to do next to fix this problem? Yes, Lufu. So we have to put using here. Using bank, because bank is the namespace of our bank account class, okay? Bank. So let's do that. Using bank. Great, so this is fine. Not giving an error, but not enough. What's the problem now? What's the last problem that we have to solve here? Exactly, Fabio. We have to make the bank account, Sally. That's it. We have to go to the bank account, make this one public. Okay? With that done, we are now arranging it properly. Now we're gonna act, and when we say act, we have to call the method, the deposit method. So let's say double actual equals to my account dot deposit, and we're gonna deposit the deposit amount. Should it be like this? Is that the way that we're gonna do this? What is the actual here? How do I get the actual value if this is wrong? I mean, how do I address that? Okay, perfect. So we're gonna have the deposit by itself, and then what are you gonna set actual to? We are expecting a proper balance, okay? So how about we get the balance of the account after the deposit? Exactly. So my account dot balance. I need to get the balance so I can compare expected with actual. Now in my assert, I'm gonna say assert dot r equal expected compared to actual. And voila, that's it. Let's activate our test explorer and let's run a test here. Okay, so if I run this, and that's what we have. The test worked just fine, okay? Because expected is matching the actual. Any questions about this test? Checking Padlet as well, just in case. Anything? Okay, so that's the first one. The next one, we're gonna do the same thing, but for withdraw. Okay, so I should be fine by copying this entire method here and just changing whether where you see deposit, it will be withdraw, where you see deposit, it will be withdraw, and we change the expected values as well, okay? So I'm just gonna reuse this code to create our second test. We're gonna say withdraw, and we're gonna call the withdraw method here. Now, let's rename a few things here. So we're not gonna deposit, we're gonna withdraw. We're gonna withdraw. If we have 10, we're gonna withdraw, let's say 5, and the expected will be 5. Okay, so we're gonna withdraw this amount here, and we're gonna check. So actually, let's break this down a little bit better. So let's withdraw 7, and we expect 3. Okay, so we have 10, withdraw 7, and then we're gonna expect 3. Now, I would recommend that if we are talking about a bank account, that we use more real numbers. Real numbers in the sense that numbers that makes more sense in our reality, you know? So that's what I usually recommend. Yes, those numbers will work, but try to use a scenario that is more realistic. But this will work. Let's give this a try as well. Again, nothing too different here. Withdraw. So let's run this. Actually, let's run the whole thing. Okay, so both of them are working correctly. Okay. Now, we're gonna code the next one here. So we have 3 more test cases. We have withdraw more than the balance, withdraw 0 or negative amount, deposit 0 or negative amount. So we're gonna have 3 more test cases, but now they are handling sorry, I don't like that. It's not handling exception. They are testing whether or not we had exceptions here. So let's start with the withdraw more than the balance. So for this one, I'm gonna say test methods public. We're gonna test withdraw. How should I name the part in the middle here? What do you think? We're gonna be withdrawing more than the balance. Well, I could say more than the balance. You're right, Fabio. So I missed void here. I was just testing you. You passed. Good job there. So withdraw. Again, what is the next name? How do we name the next one here? Withdraw more than balance. Withdraw. Someone yesterday, yeah, more than the balance. That's good, Fabio. Someone yesterday suggested withdraw over limit. I like that too. It could be more than the balance, over limit. Doesn't matter, as long as it describes a little bit more. Over balance. And what do we expect? An exception. We expect an exception. Okay. We have in a range. I'm going to copy the entire section there. So we have in a range that we're going to create an account. We will try to withdraw 15. We just deposit 10. The amount, the account balance is 10. There is no expected value because we expect an exception. We're going to try to withdraw, but we don't have a balance there because this should trigger an exception. And our assert will be empty. What are we asserting here? How are we testing whether or not this throw an exception? How do I do that? Exactly. So we're gonna have an annotation called exception, expected exception. And we're gonna get the type of. Now we're gonna match the exception here. For that one, if the amount is greater than the balance, we expect a very simple exception. Okay, so we're expecting that. Let's give this a try. Again, we are trying to withdraw more than what it's there. So if we run all the tests, it's all good. Okay. We have 2 more to go. We have now we're gonna test if it's 0 or negative. Now let me tell you this. In a case like this, that we need to test 0 and negative, ideally 0 should be one test, negative should be another one. However, just to make it this simple, and we just have 5 tests here, let's use either 0 or negative number that will represent the validation of this part here. Again, in a case like this, traditionally it would be 0 and negative number, but let's use just one method here. So we're gonna say test methods public void. Let's start with withdraw. Now, what are we testing? What are we providing? We're providing 0 or negative, okay? So 0, negative. I could say like this. I could say 0 or negative. And then we expect an exception. Because now we are always expecting exceptions with the last 3 test methods, okay? So here we're gonna arrange a withdraw, but the withdraw here, we're gonna try to withdraw -1. I could say 0, -1, okay? And let's see what will happen if we withdraw that. But before that, we have to flag, we have to annotate the error. What is the error that happens? This one here. If the amount is less than or equal to 0, this exception will happen. So we're gonna use a similar annotation as we did before, but with a different exception. Argument out of range exception. Okay, let me just check quickly here if there is any questions. Again, I'm just speeding things up a little bit because our time is quite short today, and I really want to make this a goal for all of you. So the 4th method should work fine. Let's give it a try here. Let's see. All good there. Deposit it's a very similar scenario. We're gonna just rename and call it deposit when we're calling withdraw. And I'm going to copy this test to test the deposit as well. So instead of withdraw, this will be deposit. We're gonna be doing a deposit amount, deposit here, and now we're gonna try to deposit -1, -$1, and sorry, deposit here. And if I test this out, run everything, we should get 5 past test methods, 5 past test methods, okay? So we have all 5 of them here. Great, so let's just collapse them. So all 5 of them. Again, any questions? As soon as I'm done, there's just one more point to mention here. As soon as I'm done, I'm gonna zip this up. I'm gonna send that via Slack and via Padlet so everybody can download this code. Two last points in our exercise. We have to flag the owner and the category of each property, of each method, of each test method. So we have to flag the owner as your name and the category as either important or very important. First two will be important, and last three will be very important. So let's do that. So the first one here, I'm gonna say owner Ederson and test category. I'm gonna say for this one it's important. This one as well, I'm gonna copy and paste here. But for the last three, they are very important. So I'm gonna say very important. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna paste it here and here as well. If I save and I rerun the tests, we should see under traits the owner and the important and very important. We would be able to filter them. Okay. So let's say that I just want to see the important one. And there we have it. Okay. Again, any questions? Any comments, suggestions, worries, issues, recommendations? For the ones with VM problems, again, let me know, send me a snapshot so I can not only remember but try it myself. What I'm gonna do next here, I'm just gonna zip this up. I'm gonna go to the folder of the solution, right click, go to the folder. I'm gonna zip this up here. I'm gonna select everything. Usually do that after you close Visual Studio because otherwise this folder will be blocked, but I didn't select it, so I'm just gonna go with those. I'm gonna zip them up. I'm gonna call this exercise exercise 14. I'm gonna add two Padlets. Could you postpone the assignment? Okay, let me answer that in a second. So I'm gonna upload there, and I'm gonna upload to Slack as well. So let's see here. Section 6. And it's there as well. Okay, so it's there on Slack too. Let me confirm that. Yeah, so it is there too. So you can see on Slack the exercise. Okay, if you are having problems with assignments and deliver when you can, deliver when it's ready. That's it. Don't go over, beyond Monday, but deliver when you can. That's what I can say. Okay? Deliver when you are able to, and I will do the necessary considerations. Marvin, I'm not gonna upload to Padlet right away. Sorry, to Centennial right away, because I still have another section that is doing this exercise. Let me think for a second here. Now the next one has already done this. Okay, you know what? I can upload to Centennial already, because the last section is actually your section is the last one that is taking this exercise. So no, it's okay. I'm going to upload it right now. So here is the solution. Okay. Okay, so it's on Centennial under week 12 as well. Solution is there too. Theory, Professor, next semester, web application course, is any chance that we will need to use Windows or VM? Okay, web application development. I have seen people using their Macs. However, when they use their Macs, they have to use a different type of database. So they were able to run on Macs using a different type of database because we are running .NET Core. So you don't need to use a VM. However, you will need to use a slightly different database than the one that I sometimes refer to during class. Okay? That's, if you want to follow up with me, theory about that, I'll send you more information about that. Okay, great. So, to wrap things up before, by the way, make sure that your name on GoToMeeting matches your name on Centennial, because I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna read it, unless you are using an alias, but otherwise I will know, because I will run the attendance via the names in GoToMeeting, okay? I just want to leave you with this before you go to the quiz. Under week 13, you will have exercise 15 and 16. Work on those two exercises because they are your warm-up for the test. So next Thursday, I will demonstrate them in class. But come to class with them done. Because if you don't come with them done, what's the point? You didn't give it a try. The next day, you're going to be doing a test very similar to those things, you know? So give it a good try. Okay? I will be demonstrating this next Thursday, and Friday we have our test. Okay, any questions? If you delivered afterwards, I'm assuming that's you're talking about the assignment, correct, Luana? Okay. Deliver by at least by Monday. At least by Monday. And I'll consider that. Professor, I have a question. I realize when we enlarge and narrow windows in the corners after running web form application, it does not work as professional apps. It means label radio buttons. Does it resize based on our adjustments? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by web forms application. Are you talking about Windows application? It does not work as professional apps. I mean label. Okay, here's the thing. There are ways to handle resizing. Okay, resizing of the window. There are controls there are properties to handle that. We didn't have a chance to cover that kind of stuff, but there are properties that are able to make the controls resize according to the screen resolution, to the resizing of the form, okay? But we didn't get a chance to touch that kind of depth, okay? So yeah, it does not resize automatically. There are things that you can do to resize Windows controls and forms, but it does not do that automatically. I can have some content sent to you, okay, if you are interested in that, but follow up with me afterwards. Okay, so sorry for the rush here, but we need to get going. Go to assessments, quizzes. I'm going to open the quiz to everyone. So give me 1 second. So it's called quiz 05. By the way, very important. 10 questions, 20 minutes. You can only move forward. The questions will not show up at the same time. Only one question at a time. As you answer, you move forward. You cannot come back. Don't skip. I'm going to repeat this. Do not skip questions because you cannot go back. Answer, move forward. Answer, move forward. Total of 10. You cannot come back. Okay, so give me 1 minute to activate that for you. Okay, if you are on quiz 5, refresh your screen. You should be able to start the quiz. Can you please confirm if it's working? Just give me some feedback there. I'll be online, real time here with you. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. But I'll be around. I'll just mute myself. Is it working? Okay, great. So you have refresh that, Fabio, because I've removed the password. So refresh it. There's no password there. No problem. Okay, so again, get started. You have 20 minutes. I'm going to put a timer just so you have an idea. As you get it done, that's it for the day. I'll see you all next Thursday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay sound. Have a good holiday. No, long weekends. Bye. But I'll stay here if you need me.